Hello and welcome to Mickey Art. My name's Michelle Edhouse and today I am doing a test. I know that some of you really enjoy my experiments, and so today is one of those grand experiments. And so what's the experiment? Many of you are asking me regularly, Michelle, what sort of silicone should I use? And you know what, there are so many different silicones out there that I'm not going to test them all, but I am going to test 3. But as you all know, the best way to make a scientific test is to make sure that the only thing that's different is that one variable. So first step that I'm going to do is mix up some Reeves Phthalo Blue and some Reeves Grass Green, and right from nothing, and I've already done my white, and just going to mix it up so that you guys can see that the only thing that is different is the silicone. Just a little hint, if you're using Floetrol, it does get these snot-like globules in it. And best way I've found is to put a bit of stocking underneath the little ring, if your style has a ring, otherwise use a elastic band. And that's just a built-in strainer. So the other question I get a lot is, how do you mix your paints? This is how I mix my paints. I squirt my paint in and then I basically cover it with Floetrol, and it varies. Sometimes I know that I've got enough before it completely covers, sometimes I put more than that, and sometimes I don't. So it varies colour to colour, brand to brand, so please, whatever brand paint you're using, I know on Amazon these Reef paints are insanely expensive, so I have no idea why that is. I pay $6.50 New Zealand, which is probably about $4.20 US for one of these. How big is it? I don't know. 2.5 fluid ounces, 75 mils. As you can see, it's quite a thick paint. So the thing I love about the Reeves is that this one is a fine artist quality, which means it's got lots more pigment, it's got fine pigments, and basically you end up with a better quality painting. That's my awareness anyway. If you've been following my channel, you'll have seen me playing with a cheaper brand, and yeah, we got cheaper brand results. So it's somewhere between 2 parts paint, 1 part Floetrol, and 50-50, 2 parts, 1 part, whatever, however you want to word that. And then once it's mixed up with the Floetrol, then I just add water to the right consistency. And some paints, like these ones seem to be doing, go lumpy, and the best thing to do, see that, all those lumps in there, best thing to do is to get it as stirred up as you can and walk away for a couple of hours and just let them sit there and do their thing. And then when you come back, the Floetrol's kind of penetrated into those lumps, and the lumps stir in, and you get a nice smooth result. Obviously if you're using craft paint you tend not to have that because it's already liquidy enough as it is. And just know craft paints aren't fine artist quality, so just be aware you pay for what you get. And also they're already putting the extra medium in for you, which then you're paying paint price for medium. So I'm going to leave those to dissolve a little bit and go and get the rest of the things ready for this experiment. I'll be back. Okay, so 20 minutes later. Now when I stir up the paint and have a look at it, I'm not seeing those giant great lumps. The green is pretty much down to smooth as well. So this is where we start adding the water. And this is where you just keep adding water until you get it to the consistency that you want. Make sure that you scrape the sides. No. And also scrape your stick off as well, because oftentimes we go to test how runny our paint is, and it's still got this thick layer of the thick stuff that hasn't had that new bit of water added. So this is going to end up being a video where I can go, how do I mix my paints? Go check this video out. So it'll go into the experiments playlist. I just use this bottle that's got a little screw open close tip to it, and it just gives me more control. I can get it right down to just like one drip at a time to thin it down. Very rarely that I need it to be that much, but compared to pouring it out of a cup or out of a thicker nozzled pourer, it gives me a lot of control. Yeah, it's feeling a lot runnier, but it's still needs some more. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole of the green while I do the same thing. There, that's better. So you want it to be able to pick up on the stick, but then when you tilt your stick, for it to run off in a continual stream. It's getting closer, still not quite thin enough. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video while I do the green to that same stage, and I'll be right back. Okay, so one of the things that I highly recommend you do when you're mixing your paints is you get all your paints that you're using in that same pour to the same consistency. I have had it where I've had one colour that was a lot runnier than the others, and it just took over. It invaded the entire world. Turned out alright, but yeah, unless you want that colour to invade, And also I'd like to refer you back to one of my experiments I did a while ago. I've done a couple with regards to one with regards to how thick your paint is and how much cells you get, where I used the same paint and watered it to different consistencies and used the same silicone in all and got really different results. And also I did an experiment where I stirred the silicone in just a little bit, a lot, and then hyper stirred it, and there's a huge difference in that as well. So, you know, please go back and have a look in my experiments playlist and learn from it. They are there for you to learn from. So that's the paint mixing portion of how I mix paints. I randomly, arbitrarily choose a ratio of paint and Floetrol and then add water till I get the amount I need. Now those 2 pots I used a whole bottle of water. Let's just check how much water that is. So I refilled the bottle and then tipped it into this measuring jug, and about 90 ml, which is about 3 ounces of water, 3 fluid ounces. So there you go, that gives you some sort of vague concept how much water I put in. I dare you to try and work out my recipe, because I don't know it. I know that there's people out there that weigh things and measure them to the minutest degree, and quite honestly guys, I know my paint, I trust my paint, I trust my Floetrol, and I'm just willing to let all of that be what it needs to be. So what's the next step? The next step is to get myself out some little pots. I need 3 for each colour, 3 colours, so 3 pots, and I've got 4 different colours of cup here, and I've got 4 different silicones or oils. So I am going to use 4 different colours so that we don't get confused. And I'm just going to line these up and put, I don't really need to do this for the white because I'm not actually putting silicone in the white. I only need 2 of each. That's even better, less plastic. But it's okay, I'm going to need the 4th one for the flip cup anyway, so we need that out. So what I'm going to do is put roughly the same amount of paint in each. And I'm just watching from the side and getting them till they're about the same. And a little bit more in that one. Now, the amount of silicone you put in is definitely going to make the difference. And I'm only using a tiny amount of paint. So I only need a tiny amount of silicone. So let's introduce you to our silicones. So our first one that I'd like to introduce you to is coconut oil. Now this one has been in my fridge. It's where I keep my coconut oil, so if I open this up you'll see it's hard and chunky, broken up for easy access. So I took some out and I put some in a container, and popped it out on the car bonnet to melt. So that's number 1. Where am I going? How about I come down here and put that there. Number 2, staying with the natural stuff, I grabbed my extra mild olive oil out of the fridge. So that is number 2. Put some of that in there. And pop that up on that line. Now number 3 is actually going to be in a jar. Why? Because it's Silicone CRC 808. This stuff, you've seen me use it before. It's what I first started out using right back in the beginning. My husband had this tin, I believe, in his garage, and we're going back probably 18 months, maybe a little less, and it's getting a little bit low now. But what you do because it's a spray, what you do is you spray it into a bottle outside, preferably. This was done outside so we had no residue on anything. Being very scientific here. And so it does pay to do it a couple of days before, because the aeration of the canister does tend to, I don't know if you can see, probably not, it's a bit, see if I can, there's just a very fine aeration in the oil, and I learnt this trick from Anne-Marie Ritterhoff when I first started. And you spray it in the bottle and you shake, 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 and then you let the go, and then let it stand for an hour or so. Shake, 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 shake. Let it go, let the air out, and it just depressurizes and allows a lot of that air to get out. A couple of days and it'll be sweet. I haven't done that with this one, I've only just done it. So that's number 3. And number 4 is my favourite. Wouldn't use it on my body. It's dimethicone. It's designed for on bodies, but it's 100% dimethicone, which means it's 100% man-made. Oops, I'm nearly contaminating the world. It's 100% man-made, and it is, yeah, silicone. Well, dimethicone. If you want one for your body, go for the green packaging, or whatever else you want to use, but that one is number 4. So let's just get those out of the way, and we will start to play. How am I going to know which is which? That is easy. I have got a marker pen, and I'm going to put 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll know because I've got them in that order, standing over at the side looking all sheepish. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our order, and these things here are going to be our methods of application of the silicone. So let's do that. So all I'm going to do is get some into this little eyedropper and just put one drop of each in there, and use a clean one, and one drop. I've got a second drop in that green. I might have to redo the experiment. Okay, so just be aware that these can be quite runny, and it's why I use an eyedropper bottle for this stuff, because it comes out super fast if you don't. And last but not least, our Durex. One, and that's it. Now these are very intensive on the tools. We've got 8 cups, we need 8 stirring sticks. So just going to stir that silicone in. I'm going to do 6. What's that bit of stick? 6 stirs, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not very good at counting, am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to put the stick into the silicone so I actually know that that's being stirred around. And so what's next? We need to have something to pour onto, don't we? So let's get that next. I hope if you're finding this boring that you just skip ahead and don't start leaving me negative comments. So, what do we have? We have, let's have a look. So, coconut oil was 1, olive oil was 2, Durex play was 4, and CRC was 3. So we're all in agreement that my method is so far correct. Let's go back over to our paints. And I'm gonna do something just so that we get some sort of equilateral triangle going on. Maybe. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? And now guys, you are never ever gonna have a pour that turns out identical, ever. Doesn't happen. There is always things that are variables. The placement of the paint, the height from which you tip it, the shape of the cup that you're tipping it into, the minutest variant in the amount that you tip in. It all, and probably many other options, add up. They all contribute to something different. Even if you had a machine dispensing exactly the same amount in exactly the same spot, there'll be something to do with the viscosity. Something will show up that there's a chance that more might run out of one pot than out of the other. And you might be asking, why am I putting white between each of them? Because I like both of these colours as a lighter version of themselves as well. And I want to see what they all do when I do it this way. Alright, there we go. So, number 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of the way. Let's bring in our spot. And let's start here. Ready? 1, 2, number 3 goes there, 3, and number 4 goes there. Okay. Now I'm going to have to take them off individually so they've all had roughly the same amount of time. Ready, set. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to let them sit and to see what they do on their own, and then we'll torch them. All of them are doing something, so that's always a bonus. Should we have a zoom in and have a look? Let's go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright. Now I've got to count how long I give them. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, Alright. Do you think I did that evenly? Okay. I'm going to get you down, show you close up what we've got on each, then I'll pop you back up and we'll do the spreading. I'm thinking I can probably make 4 cups. Okay, so coconut oil. I'm not seeing a huge amount going on there. There was some initial stuff, but nothing once the heat really came on it. Olive oil, that's looking quite promising. It's got a few cells in there. That's looking alright. CRC, now that one's definitely got silicone cells. These things down here, they're definitely silicone cells. Yep. And the Durex play, definitely. So I would say that so far our 2 artificial ones are coming out ahead and the 2 natural ones are lagging a little bit behind. So let's spread them out, give them another torching and see what shows up. Okay, so I'm just going to tilt one way and then the other and just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Because the other thing when selecting a silicone and paint combo, obviously, is how well do the cells hold together when you're moving it. How well do they stretch? None of them are really looking big enough for me to make a card out of. It's funny. I'm just going to give this one a little bit extra tilt. Spread that one out a little bit. Alright. So, what are we seeing? It's looking good. It's looking good. Let's give it a torch. Mostly popping air bubbles in those 2. Which when you've just recently mixed your paint is not surprising. Trying to keep the flame at an equal distance for each of them so that that's not a variation. And let's just go in for one quick blast. Burning spot. Alright, let me get you down. Let me show you what we've got. Okay, so what I want to point out here is some of these cells, what they look like cells, actually are where air bubbles popped, and then we stretched them. And that is one way that you can end up with cells. Also using Floetrol can contribute to the cellular formation. It's nice, and not gonna be using it for cell strut. So this one is the olive oil. It's a bit better. I love that little twist in the green from when I picked the cup up, but that's got nothing to do with the cells. That's where I burnt it deliberately. And we've definitely got more of the eye looking cells with this one. And heading over to the CRC E28. Oh, that's the sort of cell I like to see. Yum. Yum, yum. And we've got a bit of a merge in the middle here. And look at this. This, guys, is why I play with lube. I must say it tickles my funny bone on a regular basis that you guys all tune in to watch me play with lubricant. That's just my sixth sense of humour. So, to me, personally, the sort of cells I prefer definitely come from the Durex play. Second, by the CRC. These ones have got some nice stuff going on, but they're not the sort of cells I'm after. So next step is to see how they dry. Let's put these away, put a fly cover over them, and I'll be back once they're dry. In your time, that'll be 3, 2, 1. Okay, so welcome forward, and here they are all dry. Let's just bring them up individually and let you see. So we've got the coconut oil. I'm feeling quite a greasy feeling on the top of that. No, can't smell any coconut. So there is some cells happened in there. They have dried totally fine. No worries about them going wonky and weird. It's okay. But it's not got much cells happening in there. Moving on to our olive oil. We've definitely got some cells happening, more so than with the coconut oil. Now I know a lot of you use a coconut oil serum that you buy for a hair serum. I believe there's actually other silicones in there other than just coconut oil, so just have a read of it. It's not just straight coconut oil in those box bottles, and I don't have that one, so I didn't test it. And that's where I burnt it deliberately with the torch. If you remember, I went, I'm going to burn it, and that it's only fine burn. It's only a little bit. It's just created that little crazing look. Let's see if I can get it to actually there. See? And if you like that look, that's how to get it. Just a very quick with the torch. Yep, definitely more cells, and yeah, it's all good. Then number 3 was our CRC, the tin of silicone, and we're starting to get some of those cells that I really like, and these are yummy. Alright, and then moving on to our Durex Play dimethicone, and this is why I use this stuff. Look at that. If I can get it to focus. They are great size cells. They've held together. So that's my experiment to give you an indication of the different sorts of cells, but also it shows you, you know, we put the same amount of paint in the same order and in the same quantities-ish, and look how different they are. And that's got nothing to do with the cells, guys. That's just the way the paint came out. So I hope that has been a contribution to your playing with paint experiment. And if you are interested, I do have other videos on, as I mentioned earlier, about how much you mix in the silicone, and also the thickness of your paint and how much that affects how you get your cells. So please go and have a look for those. They are in my experiments playlist. So if you go to my channel and then select playlists, you'll be able to find the experiments playlist, and they're in there. I do have, and I link to it in the end page, a playlist of all my videos. We're over 400. I think this one's 412, or it might be 410, 411, somewhere around there. And plus there's a lot of live videos that I've done over the last nearly 18 months. So I'd love to invite you to go and have a look through those. Maybe just scroll through the playlist and see if any jump out at you that you haven't watched yet. And I'd really appreciate it if you let the ad at the beginning play for 30 seconds. It just contributes to my ability to continue this channel. You know, it takes a lot of time and work to keep this channel going, and I appreciate any contribution you guys whether that's watching the ads or clicking the Amazon links or buying my stuff. Obviously these aren't for sale, but buying my paintings. If you see a video and it doesn't have sold in the title, then touch base with me. Ask for the price. I'm more than willing to ship internationally. And yeah, what else is possible, guys? How else can we keep this channel going so I can keep doing experiments and giving you information and ideas and me being me, me having fun. So I adore you, and what else is possible? What else can you choose? What else can you play with that you haven't played with yet? I adore you all, and I will talk to you again super soon. Bye bye.